Welcome to Ask the Experts, where each week we talk to people in the industry to get the inside word on what's happening right now, and what that means for the tactics you should use to make the most of your money. Now, this week is one that's a little near and dear to my heart because, frankly, my social media has been absolutely plagued with scammers, and unfortunately, it's not working on some people, it is working on some other people. So, this episode partnered up with Kiwibank, kindly lent us their expert, Alyssa Charles-Green, who's a fraud specialist, and we're going to talk about fraudsters, scammers, how they're trying to get their sticky fingers on your money, and also, frankly, the very, very frustrating ways that I know they are targeting people who follow me. So we're going to keep you safe. We're going to shed a little light on this. We're going to figure it all out.
Before we get into it, Making Sense is stoked to be supported by Kiwibank. We've teamed up to bring you insight directly from their people, the experts who live and breathe this stuff every day. It's not the outdated stuff that worked 5 years ago. It's what's happening right now in the industry to help you make the most of your money. This is Making Kiwi Better Off. This is Kiwi.
Thank you so much for coming in, Alyssa. I bet you see some hairy stories in your job. But before we jump into what's going on, frankly, all the stories I've heard, scammers keep changing the game a bit. But I'd love to know, have you ever had someone try to scam you or even, God forbid, nearly get you?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's quite difficult to find somebody who hasn't had a scammer try and fleece them of their money somehow. Usually that will be like the text message saying it's tax time, or you've been on a toll road, even though there are only 3 in the country, or the email as well. So I think the one that I have to pay a lot of attention to when I get them is the missed delivery texts for parcels, because I often have something in the post. So the first thing that I usually check for is it coming from a 4-digit number? If it's not, then I know pretty much with 100% certainty that I'm looking at a phishing text. If it is coming from a 4-digit number, it doesn't mean that that's foolproof either. We do see some interesting attempts to imitate legitimate companies as well, including those 4-digit numbers. So I'll usually take a look, go, does this link look okay? Not too sure. I'll pretty much always go for the tracking number that I received with my purchase and then go through the courier website directly. And sure enough, that's kept me safe a whole bunch of times. But I think it does really show how sophisticated these scams are these days. They are designed to catch you in the moment when you're distracted, when you're busy, or just expecting something. And the sheer volume will do that. They will pick up a bunch of people that way, but these texts are going out to thousands of people at once. So it is exactly that. It's like a big fishing net.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the thing is as well is they just keep slightly changing the game all the time. So it's a bit of an arms race. Just when you've figured out the playbook, then the tactic might change or the technology might change. Like you say, they can dupe where the numbers are coming from these days, which freaks me out. So are there any new tactics at the moment that are causing problems?
Oh, of course. And I actually really like that arms race and comparison. I usually describe fraud and scams as the eternal chess match, because it's a series of moves and counter moves to deal with the constantly evolving tactics as well as technological advancements. So unfortunately, it has become a battle against an actual industry as opposed to a few years ago when scammers were much less organised. So we're now seeing these massive contact centres set up overseas for the purpose of scamming. And that's not to say that we don't actually have scammers based in New Zealand. I think a lot of people are really surprised when I say, you could actually be talking to a Kiwi. And that adds to the realism of that phone call that you're getting. But we are seeing a lot of domestic activity. But the 2 scams that we're probably seeing the most of is cryptocurrency and impersonation scams.
Okay, so tell me more about each of those, cryptocurrency and impersonation. What happens there?
Yeah, so on the cryptocurrency side, scammers will set up fake investment platforms, they'll pretend to be legitimate trading firms, and they may actually even hack real accounts to promote fake cryptocurrency investments. So Cryptocurrency, if you don't know, that includes the likes of Bitcoin, which are most common, but you also have Ethereum, even the Dogecoin, which you may be familiar with if you're up to date with Elon Musk and all of his fun activity.
Shenanigans. Yeah.
That's it. So these scams, like with any investment scam, it's about luring people in with promises of guaranteed high returns. These scammers will actually show like fake dashboards to show how your profits are increasing. You'll invest more and more over time. And when you go to withdraw it, money's gone, and so are they.
Drives you absolutely crazy. Okay, so that's cryptocurrency, and then impersonation.
Yep. So impersonation scams. Now, this is where everyone's favorite AI comes into the picture. It's gone really next level. We're seeing celebrities completely deepfaked at the moment. They create these videos looking like they're endorsing it. I know the likes of Mike Hosking has quite a lot of trouble with it. I think he's commented on that as well. We've seen previous prime ministers, all sorts, even Clark Gayford.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. But these do really catch people out. And I think it's quite important to remember that not everyone in New Zealand is going to have the same level of savvy around these scammers. These will, even if it seems ridiculous to one person, to someone else, with different level of knowledge, different level of exposure to current events, they will be completely taken in by these things because it's coming from a trusted person, right?
Yeah.
We do see as well, even loved ones being impersonated through the likes of WhatsApp, Facebook. They'll be hacked. And then often it's actually kids overseas reaching out to their parents going, "Hi, Mum, I need some money. My phone's been stolen," everything. So that is quite common. And of course, impersonating bank staff and government officials to trick people into transferring money. So key thing to remember there is if anyone contacts you out of the blue, particularly about crypto investments or any urgent banking issue, assume it's a scam.
Yeah.
That's it. Hang up, go directly to the official website and verify it yourself. And if it's a request from a family member or friend, contact them through another channel to let them know about the call or message you've received to check first before you send any money. So what we've found there is a quick phone call to their actual number that will quickly clear that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Such good advice. And it drives me nuts, this one, because I mean, I'm certainly not Mike Hosking level, but there are people who impersonate me as well. And I am having the world's worst time getting these scammers taken down because especially seems to be quite prevalent on TikTok, quite prevalent on Instagram. Those seem to be my worst ones, where people will message me and say, "Is this really you?" And it's this second account. And I don't have any second accounts. I only have the one on each platform. But it'll be the second account that's stolen my profile picture. They've got a very similar profile name, and they're going through the people who follow me, going through that following list and just messaging them all, saying, "Hello, dear, how are you? And, I've got this amazing investment opportunity. Would you like to join?" And so, can I just say for anyone who's watching and listening to this, I'll never message you first. I don't use WhatsApp. So if I say, "Come and join me on WhatsApp," that's definitely not me. I don't have a WhatsApp account. And I certainly won't be trying to get you to buy cryptocurrency with me. I'm not doing that to you. So little, just FYI on that front. But it's so frustrating because people will send me these messages saying, "Is that you?" And I'm saying, "Absolutely not. Block them, report them." And then I try to report them, and 9 times out of 10, these platforms come back to me and say, no problem. They're not impersonating anyone. And I'm like, yes, they are. They're impersonating me. I just told you that's not me. And it drives me nuts. I mean, how bad is social media as a funnel for these sorts of things? I'm biased. It seems huge to me, but is it pretty bad?
Oh, it's massive. Absolutely massive. It's a scammer's playground because it's so easy to create a fake profile, run misleading ads, and reach so many people in such a short space of time. And you're certainly not alone in what you're experiencing, right? I think at least 50% of the people that I follow on social media, they've had to do a clarification post about that they'll never contact anyone. This is their only profile, etc. So it's just becoming bigger and bigger every single day. And unfortunately, because they're taking over, stealing these identities, that's the crux of it, they are able to have that level of trust from the outset. Some of these profiles, they are copying absolutely everything, down to your last statuses, any pictures that you've uploaded to try and create a history. So again, it's that sophistication, whereas a few years ago, you weren't seeing that level. They were quite obviously bots, but they are getting better and better at mimicking real people. And that does make people drop their guard when they get these messages because it looks so legitimate. The previous things that we knew to check as red flags are no longer red flags.
Yeah.
And that's where social engineering comes into it. And that's the biggest thing that we tell people about with scams, and particularly when we're talking to somebody who has been a victim. What we're experiencing is social engineering. So people are being purposefully manipulated with specific techniques to make them believe it, to drop their guard. And running against that is so difficult. It's a constant, again, the eternal chess match.
Yeah.
Moves, counter moves. And some of those counter moves on our part becoming more and more difficult. So the other side of it, of course, is that reporting these fake accounts is often a nightmare because these platforms don't always act quickly or, as you've experienced, at all. And it's quite frustrating because it's not just an inconvenience. It is costing real people their life savings. And this is where social media platforms need to step up. They've got to come to the party because, we're seeing a lot of heat on the banks, and that's totally understand. But it's not the banks in isolation. We see the payments go, but there are so many pieces that lead up to that moment of scam. It's the social media, it's the texts that go through, there are so many different links in that chain.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea of someone getting scammed because they thought it was me, because they trust me, genuinely keeps me awake at night. Absolutely hate it. So I'm so glad that we're able to walk through some of this, because the other thing that gets me is sometimes people will say to me, oh, they'd never get me. I know how all this works. And I feel like as soon as you say that, you are actually the most in danger because your guard is down. You think you've got it sussed. You're not alert. I think I could be scammed. I absolutely do. And that keeps me on my toes because they are clever, these people. It's not just these misspelled emails from Nigerian princes anymore.
Yeah.
We're way past that.
Life is full of ups and downs, so no matter what your everyday looks like, Kiwibank has the products and services to help you manage your money your way. To find out more, head to kiwibank.co.nz. This is making Kiwi better off. This is Kiwibank.
Red flags for scams. You've given us some. Run me through a few more things that can alert you to this not being what it seems.
Yeah, of course. So big ones to watch out for. Urgency is massive. So if somebody is rushing you to act now, you're going to miss out on this investment opportunity. You've got a virus that's infecting your computer right now. There's a fraudster who's already been in your account and they're transferring money out. Family emergencies, again, that, hi, mum, I'm overseas and I'm in trouble. These are all made to drop your guard. That's what urgency does. You immediately head into that sort of fight or flight response. So we've recently done our Scam Spotter email series for Kiwibank customers. But this is where it's so crucial to have that pause. Pause, take your time to think, is this really real? And that's the bit which scammers are exploiting to get you to just move on with it. Because when you do have the time to sit with it and examine all the different pieces, that's when you'll go, oh yeah, of course. But that creates the exact environment that scammers need to take advantage. So it's urgency. The other one is unusual payment methods. So scammers love cryptocurrency, funnily enough, gift cards, but also transfers to companies that provide instant international payment services, which is super convenient for when you do have a relative overseas, right? But anything that is super fast is something that fraudsters will also love.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because they are also really hard to trace and to recover funds. So immediately that money is coming from New Zealand and is being received on the other side of the world. So if somebody is refusing to take a normal payment method like a credit card or a standard internet banking transfer to a New Zealand-based account, big red flag.
Mm-hmm.
Third one we've got, if it's too good to be true, an oldie but a goodie, that investment promising 50% returns, the free money or the free top-of-the-line phone from a random giveaway. Nope, yeah, it's a scam.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a shame because I know I would love that stuff too. But unfortunately, there's another one I've heard of, and I'd love to know if you're seeing a bit of this, that sometimes people get scammed and then they realize they've been scammed. They realize their money is gone. And there's the sort of the savior scam as well, where someone swoops in promising to help you get your money back. Here, send me a little transfer and I can get it unlocked for you, but they're scamming you again. Is that a thing that's happening?
Oh, all the time. So we call it a recovery scheme. It's disgusting. And what happens, unfortunately, is when somebody has been scammed previously, they go on a list. They go on a list which is broadly shared on the dark web, where they get targeted again and again for all sorts of other scams. The moment a scammer has success once, of course they're going to keep going back. It's a honeypot for them at that point. So I've seen plenty of customers who have emailed us, we've given them education at the time of, clearing up a case for them because they have been scammed. That's something we have to warn them about at that point is, hey, somebody may reach out to you to say that they've found all your money. It is going to be a scam. If you do get contacted, of course, we're happy to review any documents because usually it'll be the FBI, some agent who's working with Interpol, something that sounds really official, and they may even give you a badge number and all sorts, and it is a complete scam. They are just trying to get more money out of you. It does not exist. That unfortunately, globally, we are just not in a position at the moment to have any sort of large-scale recovery efforts, and they certainly wouldn't be coming to you directly. They would be going through official channels like the government, through down to the police, to your bank even, potentially, but that's certainly not something which is in existence at the moment.
Yeah, I know. I feel like with this digital world, we need a bit more of the sort of global system to help us out. It just doesn't exist right now. So many people, you talk to them, they're like, oh, but the police will get it back. Once it's left New Zealand's borders, there's nothing the police can do to help you. It's such a shame. It's awful for people. But okay, so we want to make sure, we've talked a lot about what's going on, but we also want to talk about how we protect ourselves. Well, one of them is knowing all these wonderful red flags that you've told us about, but are there other ways we can protect ourselves on this?
Yeah, so I think, again, I always go back to that urgency piece. Slow down, because scammers want you to react emotionally. That is that social engineering that I mentioned earlier. So take a breath before you make a decision, reread it. This is a good opportunity to also phone a friend, get somebody you trust to read it through as well. Scammers really target people who are on their own as well. Especially we saw through COVID, we knew that we would have more scams afterwards because people were just going to be at home more available. So, and on their own. So definitely check in with people around you, your parents, your elderly neighbour, everyone. Double checking is crucial. And you can always verify something. If you are genuinely worried that it is Inland Revenue contacting you about some overdue tax bill or a refund, if you go to your go through your normal search engine, check it out online, log in, there will be something there. There is always another way to verify that it is.
Yeah, don't go through the link they've given you. Go through the standard one, go around. Or like if they've called you, say, okay, I'm going to hang up and call you back through the normal customer service number. Then that is a really good way to check if they're actually calling or contacting from wherever they're saying, right?
100%. If it's genuine, there'll be notes on your profile.
Yeah.
And anybody who you say that to, I'm gonna hang up and I'm gonna call the number on the website. If they are genuinely the company, they're not going to be mad about that at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
They will actually be quite grateful that you are doing that. So
yeah. You mentioned as well the impersonation from people, loved ones like your kids overseas. And one thing that I've heard a lot of people doing is having a code word or a safe word for if you genuinely get into trouble, use this code word and I'll know it's you and I'll know that you need an emergency drop of funds or whatever. But if you're not using that code word, I'm going to know that this is a scammer. Do you think that's a good idea to have that set up ahead of time?
100%. It's a great idea. Any way that you can introduce little checks into your day-to-day life or just in case of emergency, absolutely. It's like turning on multi-factor authentication for any website or, your banking. That confirmation message, that's what adds the validity to it, what you're doing. So you know that it's really real. It is an extra step, but it can legitimately stop scammers, even if they've stolen other things. So that's why for websites and everything, we do recommend having multi-factor authentication turned on wherever possible. The other thing I would say to people as well is when you are receiving any codes or messages as part of multi-factor authentication, even though you may have received 60 of them in the previous month or something, it is so important that you read it properly every time. The amount of people we talk to who we go, hey, did you get a code from us that you read out? And they go, oh, yeah, I did read out a code. And we get them to pull up the message and we go, cool, so can you read that back to me? And the first sentence will be, don't give this code to anyone, including bank staff. And it's one of those things where you hear that person just go, oh my God. And it sucks. It really sucks. So I can't emphasize that enough. Read those messages, and it's so easy to copy and paste these codes nowadays, but those messages include like the name of the merchant that you're paying, the amount as well. And that will tell you that's literally come through from that company. It's completely objective information. So you've got that confidence that what you're doing and what you're doing, because a lot of these people who are particularly stealing credit card information, they have already got your details, but they just need you to give them that code. But the message itself, instead of that $2 which you're expecting to pay, is $700 in that message. And that's an opportunity for intervention, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you so much for amazing amount of info there, Alyssa. I'm sure this will really help keep people safe, or at least I hope so. I certainly hope that the people who follow me, this helps keep them safe, because I am genuinely losing sleep over this. So thank you so much. That's Alyssa Charles-Green from Kiwibank. Now, if you have more questions about this, anything else to do with money, do get in touch. We can also answer them in a future episode. And hopefully keep you safe from these awful people out there. Now you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Only the one account on each. Francis Cook NZ. Also a lot more money content on there for you. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to Making Sense so that you never miss a trick with your money. And until next time, have a great day.
Just a note before you go, this podcast can only give you general information about how things work in most cases. It's not individual financial advice. We're all different, so some of this might not apply to your specific situation. Take what works for you, ignore the rest. If you're after individual financial advice, a financial advisor is always the best bet.